Thapelo Mokoena, award-winning actor and filmmaker, moderated a global film and television webinar. The Artist Corner TV's YouTube channel focused on how the independent film and television industry can be united across the planet. This included a panel of South African producers from the likes of Shona Ferguson, Hollywood Casting Director Winsome Sinclair, actor, producer Malik Yoba, and many more. He now joins us via Skype this morning to share more on this series that united the global independent film industry. Thapelo, very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning, champ. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm great, man. It's good to have you again on the show. Briefly talk to us, if you can, about the webinar that you moderated. How did that go?
That was amazing, to be quite honest with you. That was incredible. The world has become such a uniform and united space, digitally. So we thought, why not bring the powerhouses together so they can impart some knowledge with the young or the already existing artists?
So what really came out of this webinar? What are some of the key takeaways that some young creatives can actually, impart and internalize and run with it?
A lot, man, a lot. There's always so much to learn from individuals that are already thriving in the industry. There's also so much to learn from those that are starting out in the industry. So what we did is we unpacked how to navigate your inner Hollywood. That was the theme and that was the subject and the topic. And Hollywood wasn't a destination or a location. Hollywood was rather a feeling inside you as an artist. What are the moves that the established artists are making that determine how well they do in their careers, especially as South African or African artists? We need to be double the exceptional when it comes to managing our careers. So I'm using this platform to guide every single artist that is in the industry, that is upcoming, that is frustrated in the industry. And I'm using the Artist Corner, which is my newly launched YouTube channel, to basically channel all this information. So the webinar was my first interaction with a lot of great minds, a lot of friends from the global space, Malik Yoba, Annika Rose from Power, so many people, Michael Jai White, you name them, Connie Ferguson, Shona Ferguson, amongst many, many, many more.
Thapelo, you hosted, influential people in the film industry. You just mentioned some of them. So what was the universal message, they had on just how to unite the global independent film industry?
Well, if you go over to my YouTube channel, which is the Artist Corner TV, you'll get a sense of exactly what it is that we were trying to achieve. It's quite simple, my brother. Artists have a raw deal. Artists struggle to keep their careers, no matter how great they are. I've been blessed to have a 19-year career that has shown me a lot of fruits, but I think I've made certain business decisions that helped my career become a sustainable one. So I'm using those experiences, I'm using those insights to unpack, and in my 37 years, to share with as many artists as possible, because there's so much that we can do to make sure we have sustainable careers, no matter how tough it is. So the takeout here is you can be a greater artist. You can be a better and more solid artist. It's just maybe the how that we need to navigate.
That's actually true. I mean, seeing the kind of talent that South Africa has exported to the world. I mean, for someone who has worked both internationally and locally, how do we then bridge the gap between the two and so that all just work together as creatives?
Yeah. Well, luckily for us, there is no need to bridge the gap any longer, because we are all living in the same parallel universe, which means if information is USA now, chances are I will get it instantly in South Africa. So there's no longer delayed messaging. There's no longer waiting a week to get the song or to get the movie. It's instant. So what do we do with that? We understand that we are all global citizens. We are all global artists. There's no longer Hollywood artist, African artist. We are all just artists. The question is, How do we merge? And how do we tell bigger, better stories using the new relationships that we've got? Malik Yoba is a phone call away. Shona Ferguson is a phone call away, or a DM away. How do we use those energies and those powers to one, tell better African stories, but also to build life, sustainable careers, sustainable lives? So when I launched the Artist Corner TV as a YouTube channel, it was a chance for me to sit in my home studio and churn out content that can empower you, the artist. The same goes for the other YouTube show, the Nero TV, that I created. The wine show. There's so many possibilities with the digital era. As tough as it is, there's so much that we can do.
In terms of bridging the gap between the local industry and the international film industry, I think it's very, very prudent that we start identifying some of the differences. I mean, if we were to compare the African film industry to an international one, then work on those differences for us to be able to bridge that gap, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. It would be absolutely true. It would be very false to assume that just because we're in South Africa, we don't stand a chance. And just because we're in South Africa, we all have to pack our bags and go to Hollywood. No, Hollywood is a feeling. Hollywood is a drive, is an approach. There's a way that we can approach our business as artists that can show us more bread than what we're seeing currently. So for me, bridging the gap is no longer the conversation. It's about leveling the playing field and about each of us understanding that you as a broadcaster sitting there, you're a global brand, you are a world product. Me sitting here, I'm a global product, because one thing for sure is God didn't put me in Johannesburg. God put me on the world. So the way we unlock our mindsets, the psychology of an artist, has to completely change. I've been preaching this for 5 years. I'm in South Africa with a 19-year career that has been really okay, where it shouldn't be. And there's certain means that I've put in place to make sure that I have better bread every day. So I'm using all of these platforms to use all of these international icons and local icons that I interact with to just draw information from them so I can share it with you for free. That's the idea.
All right, Thapelo, thank you so much for chatting to us, man. We appreciate your time and, continue being a global brand that you are and represent South Africa, on the international creative stage and tell African stories on that platform. We really bank on you to do that. Thank you so much for your time. We just spoke to Thapelo Mokoena, an award-winning actor and filmmaker, on the Blueprint series he hosted on uniting the global independent film and television industry.